I bet you thought if you were somebody who was waiting on a video this weekend, because I said I was going to film once a week, you're probably like, she's not going to do it. But what you don't know is that I'm a procrastinator, and I'm going to wait until the very last minute. So here we are. Barn swallows, they're back. So we keep tearing down their nests on our porch because if they want to build a nest on the way other end, that's great, that's fine. Copulate, make babies, have them on the other end of our porch. You can't have them right here outside the front door where when we come in and out, you dive bomb us and try to murder us. Buster agrees. That's not okay. Oh yeah, my hair's darker again. It's still, you can kind of see the purple in there. You can definitely still kind of see the purple in there, but I'm digging it. I went and got groceries earlier and I tried to get a rubber snake because I was like, the toy aisle at the grocery store will totally have a rubber snake. They didn't. They had dinosaurs, which I actually almost bought a dinosaur because I figured the bird would probably be scared of that too. But I may go by a dollar store, mask up and go, and get like a dollar rubber snake and see if that will keep the barn swallows off of my porch. I'm over it. Says the lady who has 2 bird feeders in her yard, because I love birds. But don't try to murder me when I leave my house. Come here, buddy. We look grumpy. So grumpy. And the shirt, very appropriate. All panic, no disco. Might be my new favorite. Let's go over the progress that I have made in the past week. As Buster takes up residence in my lap because he's like, I'm down with this. This is cool. I think I showed you this last weekend. We're going to show it again. This is in my vintage owl lady bag. And she sells on Etsy. And these are very nice. It's great for a piece that needs a lot of room. This is my Charlotte Clayton, which I am stitching all in DMC. I'm still tweaking the DMC a little bit because I'm darkening it up. I don't have it quite at perfection yet. Charlotte Clayton. All that I have done is border. So it's a little boring. But that's okay. Soon I'll be able, actually I should cut off this bottom part so I can use it for something else. Just border. Just border. A little boring. Laura and Brenda are totally freaking out right now because I'm folding it with the stitching on the outside. It'll be fine. It's going in the bag. Buster's freaking out. So, that's as far as I got on Charlotte Clayton. We'll put her over here. Next, I went back to Red Deer. Didn't I, buddy? We know what Red Deer looks like at this point. I won't show you the chart again, but I will show you that I got the other basket almost completely stitched in. In fact, when I pull it out this week, I'm going to finish that basket. And I'll get to move on to another motif. Probably going to save the deer for last. I know I've mentioned that before, so I'll probably move down to one of the baskets below these baskets. It's going to be great. We're laying right here now. He disappeared. So Buster started this thing. in the mornings when he's hungry. I mean, he would wake me up before, but he would be polite about it, and he might like meow a little, and then if I didn't get up, he'd be like, now he gets right here, and he meows with barely a pause in between until I get up. I'm telling you, there's been a lot of lives threatened in our house at about 6:37 in the morning. This morning I got up and fed him and went back to bed because it's Memorial Day. It's my day off. I wasn't going to get up and stay up at 7 in the morning. He's lucky he's cute. After Red Deer, I had another new start. I don't want to say this is a boring sampler. It's a beautiful sampler, but I feel like I've been in kind of a boring section of it, but I've been killing it this weekend. I worked on this after work on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I started Maria Selby Humphrey, 1831 by Blackbird Designs. This is the antique. I bought the called for threads, and I'm doing it on a piece of 36 count Picture This Plus Legacy linen. Pull out the threads so you can see those. I need to cold them for a second. You know, they're never as pretty as when you get started, because if you're like me, like your little tiny wispies that you refuse to get rid of, especially right now when you can't order more gas if your life depended on it. So here's where we got to. That's pretty much it. So this is on Picture This Plus 36 count Legacy. And, oh, well, that's not good. $20 ring light from Amazon. Might not be electrically sound. Stay on. Okay, we're all worried. Let's pause. So I think the ring light is dead. That kind of sucks, because I have hair in my lip gloss now. Okay, so lighting may not be the best for the rest of this. That sucks. Completely forgot what I was doing. You know, I've been doing Flosstube for 5 or 6 years. Totally professional. Maria Selby Humphrey. These letters are in. They are also very hard to see on the antique. So I'm good with it, because I feel like that it's staying pretty true to the antique. And this one is, I want that with. Gosh, I'm so upset I don't have better light. Sucks. So that's how far I got on that. I worked on that for 3 days. And then I decided that I needed 2 new starts this weekend. Yes, 2 new starts. So I pulled out the fabric and the piece that I wanted to start, and then I realized that my piece of fabric, which I was going to do this 18th century rook, is not big enough for what I wanted to start. Not big enough. In the Merry Month of May, by the work basket, that little pillow is bigger than it looks like. So I had to go searching upstairs and I found the leftover vintage cedar plank from Red Deer, and I'm starting it on it, and I love it. I am changing the colors. It's charted for NPIs. I don't do NPIs. So I pulled what I had in stash. What I'm stitching so far is Storm Clouds. That's this one. This is gassed Acorn. This is gassed Wheat Fields. This is a gas limited edition, but let me tell you, this light green, after further inspection of the chart, is only used in like maybe 10 stitches. I don't understand why it's even there. And then this, the medium green, what I'm using is medium green, is gassed Piney Woods. It's gonna be so cool. And I may work on it more than just today. I may work on it some tomorrow. We'll see. Something else I'm thinking about doing this week is taking some time off work. There's not a lot going on at work right now. We've been doing some Zoom hearings instead of in-person hearings. I had an in-person hearing last Friday because it was a termination of parental rights hearing, so it really needs to be done in person. So we did that in person, and a lot of other ones have gotten continued until we can do them in person if they're worried about testimony and stuff like that. And I know this is more than you guys care about, but it essentially means once we're able to go back in the courtroom regularly, I'm going to be slammed. And if I have a week that's super slow, maybe I should take a day or two off and just be, and kind of get ready and prepare myself for it being really crazy. I think that's what I'm going to do. And that means a lot of stitching, which I'm pretty excited about. So that's what I started today. I'm going to go ahead and show you what I plan to start next weekend, which is going to be the last weekend of Stitch Mania. I'm putting this one off until last. Girls in Blue Dresses. You've already seen the piece of vellum I plan on stitching this on. I've got some threads in here and some that I'll figure out as I go. So this. And then Diana and I found a chart that we both loved, and I think we're going to start it next weekend together. Not Forgotten Farm was having a sale on Etsy, and I need to cut my hair. Not Forgotten Farm was having a sale on Etsy, and I bought several things, which I'll show you in a second, but most of all, this, Melancholy. Industry is the best cure for melancholy. This is the Little Stitches Handwork Club Kit from Not Forgotten Farm. I think I'm going to do this on a piece of Legacy, which, you know, I'm getting this weird yellowy glow at the moment. So we know what color Legacy is. And I pulled, this is kind of a greeny color. This is a limited edition. I have this Oatmeal. Are you Oatmeal? Yes, Oatmeal. I'm dropping stuff. Carriage Black and Pumpkin Pie. Yeah. It's gonna be great. Now let's look at the rest of my haul, because that's exciting too. Oh, one more that I worked on. I brought him home from work so you guys could see my sad little progress on P-Roy. There was one day last week where I was pretty much just in a Zoom hearing all day long. So, I mean, I told my entire office, I was like, I don't need to take notes. I'm going to be in my office with the door shut, listening to this Zoom hearing with my feet propped up, cross-stitching. And they're like, okay. I mentioned I love my new boss. He's fantastic. So yeah, P-Roy's great. Nicole stitched, not Nicole's needlework, but Nicole Klossman. She stitched circles around me, but I think she got inspired by it, and then she just went at it. You go, girl. She finished hers. She started after me, and she's already done. These are my other goodies from Not Forgotten Farm. Thomas. He might be my favorite turkey ever. And I'm sorry to anybody else who has ever designed a turkey. But he's wearing a top hat. And he's super prim. And he's got all these little, like, stripies. And he's beautiful. He's awesome. Folk Bird Needle Book. This was a club piece that I think is long gone and is now in her shop. I have noticed robins more this spring than I have ever noticed robins. It's like maybe it's because I'm walking our neighborhood every day getting exercise, but they're everywhere. And I love them. So I'm all about the robins this year. And he might have to get stitched so I can have him for next spring. I still haven't tried punch needle yet, but I have good intentions. I found a really cheap and super easy simple pattern, which is I ordered first and it hasn't made its way to me yet, but you know, sellers and whatever. But I did see these two on Not Forgotten Farms, and I needed them. Because if I love punch needle, I'm gonna need to make these. This is Bittersweet Pumpkin. Yes, I need a green creepy pumpkin. Yes. And then wait for it. Katrina Whisker Twitch. She got crazy eyes, y'all. Look at her crazy eyes. Crazy eyes. I love her. She's the detail work in her dress and stuff. Like, she's not going to be one of the first things I do because I really want her to look nice. I want to know what I'm doing. She's great. Someone else that's having 20% off in their Etsy shop right now. Wow, how is that much longer than the rest of my hair? Put that back there. Somebody else that is having 20% off in their Etsy shop right now is Lucy Beam or Rebecca Noland. So I have seen this one for years, and I love a lot of her stuff, but I love this. I've wanted it for a long time. So I just bought it. 20% off. Okay. Not the best picture. And I will say, one of the things that made me fall in love with it was this like checkerboard solid stitch bowl that the house is on. But when I got the chart, it's not. Like, half of that is open and it's thread, and the other half is... It's a specialty stitch. It's not an eyelet. It's maybe a rice stitch. I'm not scared of specialty stitches. I just did a million eyelets the other day. But I loved what I thought this was. So I think I'm going to stitch it the way I thought it was. And that's fine. I'm going to do me. And you guys should always do you in your needlework. It's fine. So that's how I'm going to do that. I love this. It's beautiful. When the pandemic first started, I placed an order because, as my dear friend Lori, Organic Granny, warned me I would, last fall I burned myself out on making project bags when I made, dear God, I don't know how many for Lindy Stitches when she released the Emily's House piece. I don't think I've made a project bag since, not finished one. I actually have some friends that I promised bags to last fall, and they're still sitting half done in my sewing room, and I apologize, guys. I suck. But that's also why I don't charge you until it's ready to ship, because I know myself. But anyway, I'm sorry. But because I suck so much and I'm so burnt out, I bought a few project bags from So Much to Love for myself, because damn it, crinkle crinkle, I deserve it. I'm taking these out of the plastic for the first time. Ooh. Oh. I didn't know this was in here. There's tea in here. Mango passion fruit. Oh, guys. La la la, valued customer, thank you for your purchase. Post a photo of your bags. La la la. Thank you, Emily, smiley face. She's so nice. She's so neat, and her packaging is so great, and she's so professional. She rocks. I got this one because it's adorable and it needs an antique sampler in it. So I got this one. I got this one out of the clearance section. Not necessarily because, well, I love the colors. And I'm not a huge beer person. But for some reason, this made me think of Quirks and Stitches gin. And that makes me love this bag. So Jen, I don't think we're working on a sal together right now because we both finished Matter's Choice. But now I think we need to start something together, and I need to put it in this bag. I mean, look. This screams gin. So there's that. She and her husband moved into their new house, and they're living their best life right now. You can just tell. They're happy people. This bag is the reason I placed an order at all. Because a long time ago, I was going to just buy myself some of this fabric and make myself a bag out of this fabric. But it's hard to find. And the one place that I did find it, I forget what happened, the reason I didn't order from there, but I think I was finally like, you know what? Her bags are so beautiful, I'm going to treat myself, and I'm going to order it from her. It's the Charles Wasaki Snow Village print. When I was a little girl, I've always loved Charles Wasaki. I've been putting together his puzzles and enjoying his artwork and buying calendars and everything since as far back as I can remember. But when I was a little girl, like, we weren't like special like linens people. Like, I can remember my mom and I would go to this outlet mall in Calhoun, Georgia, and the sheets that you got were the sheets on the bargain table, and you could mix and match and put patterns together yourself and create a sheet set, and we bought the cheap sheets, for which they were nice, they were good quality, but they were like super reduced price. We never bought like anything full price. Somewhere along the way, we ended up with this sheet set that was a snowy winter scene. And they got put on my bed in the wintertime. And I would lay there at night. And it wasn't Wasaki, but it was this detailed. And I can remember laying there, like reading a book at night, and like looking at the village and all the details and all the people, and just imagining like all these little stories about the people in the village and the houses. It's what I did. So not only do I love Wasaki, not only do I love this print, but it reminds me of being that little girl looking at the snowy scene in bed. So these are going to get wonderful, wonderful charts and projects and whips put in them. I don't know what yet, but something special. Buster is conked out. He is so asleep right now. So that's that. The only other thing I wanted to show you guys before I depart, and I'm looking around and I don't know what I did with it. Oh, here it is. Somebody mentioned on one of my posts on Instagram, they're like, that's great and all, but let's get back to the fact that you told us that you were going to start Little House Needleworks ABC samplers. Let's talk about what your conversion is going to be. So, I don't know. I'm going to figure it out as I go. I've actually been pulling like some random threads, and they're going to be dark and they're going to be earthy, and I have no idea. But like, there's a sampling of maybe what I'll use. And I bought some classic colorworks that maybe I'll use. But I know I'm probably going to stitch it. I don't think this piece is big enough, but this is a piece that I have right here of Picture This Plus Ale. So I like the idea of it being, of course that doesn't look super darker than it is in the picture, but it is, because this is stitched on 32 count Country French Cafe Mocha from Witchelt Imports. Witchelt. I don't like it. If you love it, good for you. I think we all love what we get used to, and there's just certain linens that feel better to me than others. But I know people who like the opposite of me. Witchelt doesn't feel right to me. So this fabric, and I think I'm going to start this not in Maynia, but I think I'm going to start it closer to my sister's birthday as kind of a little Cheryl celebration. My sister's name is Cheryl. This always makes me think of her. She is super country, like loves shaker houses, has gingham curtains. This is so her jam. So I will start this in celebration of her for her birthday this year. She's 10 years older than me, which means she'll be 48 this year. You know. Okay, well, I'm going to get back to stitching on In the Merry Month of May. We'll see how much I get done tonight. I will post a picture on my Instagram, and I will see you guys next weekend. Until then, stitch love into everything. Try to be a little bit less panic than me, maybe a little disco, but I'm going to stay right here. See you next weekend. Bye.